In a small village called Ntabeni, nestled among rolling hills and lush green fields, lived a young woman named Thandi. Thandi was kind-hearted and always had a smile on her face. She helped the elders carry water from the river, played with the children, and made the best maize porridge in the village. Everyone loved Thandi, but there was one thing that puzzled her. None of the men in the village wanted to marry her. Yes, before we continue this beautiful story, you can support us by subscribing to our channel. Like the video and tell us what you think in the comments. Thandi's best friend, Ayanda, often wondered why this was so. "Thandi, you are beautiful and kind. Why doesn't anyone want to marry you?" she asked one sunny afternoon as they sat under the big baobab tree. Thandi sighed. "I don't know, Ayanda. Maybe it's because I'm different. I like to read books and learn new things. Most of the men here prefer someone who stays at home and does the chores." One day, a wise old woman named Goo Nomsa visited the village. She was known for her wisdom and ability to solve any problem. Thandi decided to visit Goo Nomsa to ask her advice. "Goo Nomsa, why do you think none of the men in the village want to marry me?" Thandi asked. Goo Nomsa looked at Thandi with kind eyes. "My dear, sometimes people are afraid of what they do not understand. You are unique and have a thirst for knowledge. That scares some people. But do not worry, the right person will come along. Someone who appreciates you for who you are." Encouraged by Goo Nomsa's words, Thandi decided to continue being herself. She spent more time reading and learning new skills. She also began teaching the children in the village how to read and write. The children loved her even more, and soon their parents began to appreciate Thandi's talents. One day a stranger came to Ntabeni. His name was Sifo, and he had come from a faraway land. Sifo was tall and handsome, with eyes that sparkled with curiosity. He had heard of Thandi and her teachings and decided to visit her. When Sifo met Thandi, he was struck by her intelligence and kindness. "You are unlike anyone I have ever met, Thandi. You are really special," he said. Thandi blushed and smiled. "Thank you, Sifo. I love to learn and help others." Sifo spent many days in the village getting to know Thandi and the villagers. He admired Thandi's courage to be different and her passion for knowledge. He often joined her in teaching the children and sharing stories from his travels. But even as Thandi and Sifo grew closer, the men of the village still refused to marry her. They watched Sifo with suspicion and whispered among themselves. They could not understand why he was so interested in Thandi. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Thandi and Sifo were sitting by the river. Sifo turned to Thandi and said, "Thandi, I have come to care deeply for you. I would be honored if you would consider marrying me." Before Thandi could answer, they heard a rustling in the bushes. The village chief and Kosi stepped forward, followed by several villagers. "Thandi," Chief Nkosi said, "we have been watching you and Sifo. We see how happy you are together and how much he respects and appreciates you. Perhaps we were wrong to judge you for being different. You have taught us the importance of knowledge and kindness. If Sifo truly loves you, then we support your decision." Thandi looked at Sifo, her heart filled with joy. "Sifo, I would be honored to marry you," she said. The villagers rejoiced and plans for a grand wedding began. Thandi and Sifo's union brought a new spirit of understanding and acceptance to Ntabeni. The villagers learned to embrace differences and celebrate each person's unique qualities. But their story was just beginning, as many adventures and challenges awaited Thandi and Sifo as they began their new life together. As preparations for the wedding began, the village buzzed with excitement. Thandi and Sifo's love story had inspired everyone, and they all wanted to contribute to the celebration. The women gathered colorful fabrics to sew a beautiful gown for Thandi, while the men built a large canopy decorated with flowers and ribbons. One day, as Thandi and Ayanda were picking wildflowers by the river, Ayanda asked, "Thandi, are you nervous about the wedding?" Thandi smiled and shook her head. "No, Ayanda, I am happy and excited. Sifo is the kindest person I have ever met, and I know we will have a wonderful life together. As they chatted and picked flowers, they noticed something strange. A group of children ran past them, shouting and pointing toward the forest. Curious, Thandi and Ayanda followed the children to see what was going on. When they reached the edge of the forest, they saw Goo Nomsa standing there, looking worried. "What is it, Goo Nomsa?" Thandi asked. "There is trouble in the forest," Goo Nomsa replied. "A group of travelers is lost and they need our help." Thandi and Ayanda immediately offered their assistance. They gathered a few strong villagers, including Sifo, and ventured into the forest. The trees were tall and dense, making it difficult to see the path. They called out to the travelers, hoping to hear an answer. After a while, they heard faint voices calling for help. Following the sound, they found a group of weary travelers sitting by a large tree. They looked tired and hungry. "Thank you for finding us," said the leader of the travelers, a woman named Lerato. "We have been walking for days without food or water." Thandi and Sifo helped the travelers back into the village, where the villagers welcomed them with open arms. They offered them food, water, and a place to rest. Lerato and her group were grateful for the kindness they received. As the days passed, Thandi and Sifo spent more time with the travelers, learning about their adventures and the places they had seen. Thandi was fascinated by their stories and dreamed of traveling with Sifo to explore the world. One evening, as Thandi and Sifo sat by the fire with the travelers, Lerato spoke up. "Thandi, Sifo, you have shown us great kindness. We would like to invite you to join us on our journey. There is a world out there waiting to be explored." Thandi looked at Sifo, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "What do you think, Sifo? Shall we go on an adventure?" Sifo smiled and nodded. "I think it's a wonderful idea, but first we have to get married and celebrate with our village." The next few weeks were filled with joy and anticipation. The villagers worked tirelessly to make Thandi and Sifo's wedding the most beautiful celebration Ntabeni had ever seen. The day finally arrived, and under a clear blue sky, Thandi and Sifo exchanged vows of love and commitment. After the wedding, Thandi and Sifo prepared to leave with the travelers. The villagers were sad to see them go, but wished them well on their adventure. Goo Nomsa gave Thandi a small carved wooden amulet. "This will protect you on your journey," she said. With their hearts full of hope and excitement, Thandi and Sifo set out with Lerato and her group. They walked through forests, crossed rivers, and climbed mountains. Every day brought new challenges and discoveries. But their greatest adventure was yet to come, for the world was vast and full of mysteries waiting to be explored. Thandi and Sifo traveled with Lerato and the travelers for many months, experiencing the wonders of the world beyond Ntabeni. They saw towering snow-capped mountains, vast deserts of golden sand, and bustling cities filled with people of many cultures. Thandi's eyes were wide with wonder at the new sights, sounds, and smells. One day, as they traveled through a dense jungle, they came upon a village that looked very different from their own. The people there seemed sad and afraid. When Thandi asked why, an elder explained, "Our village is suffering from a terrible drought. The river has dried up and our crops are failing. We do not know how to get the water back." Thandi and Sifo felt a deep sadness for the villagers. "We have to help them," said Thandi. "There must be a way to get the water back." Sifo agreed. "We have seen many things on our journey. Maybe we can find a solution." Together with Lerato and the travelers, Thandi and Sifo explored the area around the village. They discovered that a large boulder had fallen into the river upstream, blocking the flow of water. With the help of the villagers, they worked tirelessly to remove the boulder. It was hard work, but everyone pitched in, determined to restore water to the village. After several days of effort, they finally succeeded. The river began to flow again and water returned to the village. The villagers rejoiced, their faces shining with happiness. They thanked Thandi, Sifo, and the travelers for their help. As they prepared to leave, the village elder approached Thandi and Sifo. "You have saved our village and taught us a valuable lesson. Your kindness and willingness to help others make the world a better place. We will never forget you." Thandi and Sifo smiled, feeling a deep sense of accomplishment. "We're glad we could help," Thandi said. "Always remember, sometimes the greatest adventures come from helping those in need." Their journey continued, and they encountered many more challenges and made new friends along the way. Thandi and Sifo realized that their true adventure was not just exploring new places, but making a difference in the lives of others. They eventually returned to Ntabeni, where they were welcomed with open arms. The villagers were eager to hear their stories and learn from their experiences. Thandi and Sifo shared the lessons they had learned, emphasizing the importance of kindness, understanding, and the courage to be different. The moral of their story was clear. True happiness comes from helping others and embracing the uniqueness in everyone. By being kind and open-hearted, we can make the world a better place for everyone. And so Thandi and Sifo lived happily in Ntabeni, their hearts full of love and their minds filled with the wonders of the world. They continued to teach the children, share their knowledge, and inspire others to be kind and courageous. This is the end of our story. We will continue to bring you the best stories. By subscribing to our channel, you will give us the best support. Share your favorite parts of the story in the comments. Let's talk.